Microphone check, 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 check. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this evening's entertainment, UFRL 100% tier race, Belgium, Season 10, Round 10. Just waiting for the game to load up now, and we're going to go through all of the bits and pieces that are the exciting stuff for this evening. I am Yaya for tonight, just for tonight, because tomorrow my personality will be different, and I'm going to take you through this evening's race. It's the first time doing this, so please bear with me. I've absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but I'm excited about it anyway. So I'm just going to go through a couple of bits of the settings whilst the guys get ready to leave the pit lane, and we'll go from there. So if there is anything that you want for this evening, if there's any settings you want to see, any information or anything like that, I'm more than happy to keep an eye on the chat and keep things up to date for you all. Cameras and all of that fun stuff. Oh, look at that. Got loads of settings on here to play with. For now, we're going to watch whoever this is, an Aston Martin on his outlap. I'm going to follow him around just while I get myself a little bit settled. This is great. I feel like I'm going to get myself in trouble. I am going to get myself in trouble, but you can come along for the ride whilst we're going anyway. So on this outlap, just going to flick through. So got a couple of others joining on track now. No one in there though. That's definitely a pit garage. It definitely is a new toy that I have to play with. If there's anything you need adjusting, just let me know in the chat for volume and all of that fun stuff. Just gonna follow him around the rest of the outlap. We've got nothing else to look at the minute, I don't think. Got Aston Martins, Red Bulls, Haas, Ferrari, and a few others out on track. So I'm going to follow this one out for a minute. So down the long back straight, plenty of battery charge going on. A little bit of warming up the tyres. We all know it doesn't do anything, but it makes us feel like professionals, which is brilliant. And we are going to follow for the first fast lap of this evening all the way round. There we are, just playing with the controls as I go along just to get me a little bit more comfortable. So, I'm supposed to be doing commentary, but I'm just kind of playing at the minute. I nearly said something rude. DRS is open, plenty of battery on, all the way down the back straight, and I've forgotten all of the names of the corners that I spent half an hour remembering earlier. Up to that corner, he turns right, and then he turns left. That's good, isn't it? And then I like this corner. I always end up going off there. Not that anyone who knows me would ever think that I ever drove off track. Down a couple of gears, back up through the gears, and then again I've completely forgot the name of these corners. Back on the power, all the way down here, and then I still think that a downshift is best around here. Some people go flat, others brake, but he's got around there quite well, and he's not crashed and died, so that's brilliant. Heading towards the back part of the lap now. I don't even know who I'm watching anymore. That is a Mercedes. That is not the Aston Martin that I thought it was. I was looking at everything else. Isn't this brilliant, guys? Ever the professional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Aston Martin that we were watching because someone else has already gone over the line. He's gone into the pits. And someone's gone off. Who's that? There's new names here as well. So that's Red. I'm going to call him Cowboy because it almost looks like Cowboy. That's Cowboy. He's red for some reason. He's gone off at turn 1, unfortunately for him. And Bevan goes fastest. Guys, give me a hand here. This is brilliant. So whilst we look for, I don't know, a brain so that we can see who is starting the next fast lap, we have Cowboy moving along just there. And then just having a quick look at the track map, we look like we have a McLaren not on a fast lap. That's good. So we'll have another look. There's a Ferrari about to cross the line. Ferrari of Baker Gaming opens the DRS. He's got a 38% battery. All his deploys used, but he does go 6th with a 1:44.825. So we'll take another look a little bit further down. And so we've got UFRL William. DRS is open, and he's going to go across the line with a slightly better time of a 1:44.3. This is great. I've got all of the information at my fingertips. Do I do qualifying or do I be nice? I mean, you spend half your time in the chat telling everyone how brilliant you are. If you're not out there, then, you know, I'd be disappointed. So, we're going to find someone else to watch. If you have any requests, like I said, have a look in the chat, drop me a message, and I'll more than happily show it to you. So we've got someone going across the... Oh, clearly missed his braking zone there. That was unfortunate. Just going to move on from that one. No one needs to see that. So let's have a quick look at Widget. It looks like he's having a pretty decent lap so far with the McLarens. Deploys used, even though he had a bit of battery left, but DRS is open. Let's see what he can deliver. That is a very respectable time there from Widget. 1:44.399. Well done to Widget. Tier 3 driver. Raced against him previously, and he always gave a good race, so hopefully he does very well today. Let's just have a quick look down here. We have Renault Twingo. It's a wonderful car, I suppose, if you like that sort of thing. But I'm sure he's only out on track because I told him to. But there we go. So we are going to... Oh, we're going to go on board. Oh, I haven't been on board properly yet. So we're going to go on board. I am going to try and find myself a track map in a minute. I remember how all of the corners look, how all of the corners feel, but I don't remember what they're all called. This is a left turn, so this one goes left. This is a slight kink, so this would be a kink to the right. And then this one coming up here is also called a left turn, but it's slightly longer left turn, so that can be surprising when you turn left, but then you keep turning left. Almost feels like half a circle. And then this is the right turn, so we're going to turn right here. Grab a little bit of the curb. Obviously this isn't a fast lap, but we're just getting a feel for the car at the minute, getting everything all nice and warmed up. Battery charge is high, which is brilliant. Especially on a track like Spa, you want to make sure that there is plenty of heat in the tyre and in the brakes. So many long straights that you end up losing quite a lot of heat. So me personally, my preference is that when I'm coming up here, I'm kind of brake boosting to make sure there's a little bit of heat going into the wheels. And then I'm getting ready for a hot lap. Grab a big load of the curb, try and miss that one because you always bounce, and then power. Battery to full overtake. I use hot lap most of the time around here, and then a big bit of overtake down the first starts of the straight. Little bit of the wheel squeal there. And then we're back on the power, heading towards Radion and Eau Rouge. Yes, I remembered the name of a couple of corners. Through Eau Rouge, and he's flat through there, which is really good to see. Absolutely starting to wring the car's necks. Battery is 51%, 211 miles an hour at peak down the straight. Braking for this corner and then this corner. Using all of the track. grab a little bit of the curb all the way out. I'd use a little bit more then, watch for the traffic, and then braking into the turn. Here, a couple of downshifts into third, up 3 gears into fourth and fifth, a little bit of a lift for this one, and then back on the power, ready for this next fast corner, whose name I also can't remember, and he's in 7th round there, and he does keep it on track very nicely through there, quite smooth, and then into the heavy braking zone, down into 4th, let the car find its stability, find its grip, use all of the track, bounce up onto the curb, onto the brakes, try and find the apex, but that's been missed a little bit there, so he'll be shouting at himself, I'm sure. He gets ever so upset. And then back on the power for the very, very long straight, all the way back down to what is now called, well, what is called the bus stop, but it's not really the bus stop. Anyone that's old enough knows that it looks drastically different to what it used to. And then hard into the brakes, grab a big bit of that curb, little bit of a squealy lock up there, just on the limits of the grip. Power, power, power. Still got some, just about had 3% of battery left. And obviously he goes pole with a 1:42.7, so genuinely an absolute blinding lap there. I don't want to give him too much credit, but that was genuinely quick. And now the nice big rush back into the pits to grab some fresh tyres, and hopefully I'd like to see him do another lap, and he might bin it. So just gonna pop back to who should we have a look at now? Oh, I can't see. Who we got here? Who should we go and look at? Gonna have a look at Ivy. So into the heavy braking zone, down, into second gear. Oh, gets a nice big chunk of the curb, then a little bit more on the second one than I'd have liked, but he's got battery left. He's opening the DRS. I don't think he improved. Not sure he improved, but still second, so still some cracking times on the board, and put in, I believe, the purple sector 3 as well, but that might have been someone else. Let's go back. Oh my god, what's going on? Right. Who should we have a look at? What's that Mercedes doing down there? So that's Cowley. Seen some surprising pace from him. So he's just about to start off another fast lap. We're going to follow him as well. Let's see if we can see differences in driving styles. A little bit more aggressive normally. Dex just, sorry, what's his name again? The one in the kick. He was very fast, but you know, we want to see a little bit of excitement, a bit less robotic. So using all of the battery down the long, I think it's the Kemmel straight, into the heavy brakes, grabbed loads of curb. That's absolutely perfect. Really opens the corner up. Bit of curb on the outside there, and then you can move onto the curb here for the braking zone because it opens it up a little bit more when you're coming round, and then you can use a little bit more curb there. There's a little bit of trepidation, making sure that the laps are fast but not overly aggressive. We know that it's quite easy to make a mistake around here and then invalidate, and it's an enormously long lap, and if you do, everyone gets really upset. Little bit of a mistake there, a little bit overcooked slightly, a little bit too hard on the turn, and he has backed out the lap to let looks like there's a Red Bull coming up on him. Let's see who that is. Is that King? No, it's not. It might be. Well, it's someone else. So we won't worry about who that is. I can't find him now. I'll get rid of that so you can actually see the screen. So we've got Simon. Oh, good to see Simon back racing. That's good. This is the last couple of weeks. Well, I haven't seen him the last couple of weeks. Not that I've missed him. I don't know him that well. No, he's going into the pits. Okay, so we're gonna head back out. We have a Mercedes. That is the Mercedes of Bevan. I believe he's coming back into the pits. Yes, he is. So there's only 3 cars currently out on track. Looks like an Alpine. It's the Alpine of Mr. Poem. But he's regretting allowing me to do this tonight already. But battery's charged. I'd love to see tyre temperatures and things like that, but I wouldn't even know where to start to find it. So we're going to follow him around for the slow bit of the lap. Someone has invalidated. That is, looks like a Ferrari. Is that the Ferrari of? That's the Ferrari of. He's now Shin. So just going to be Shin. So that's Ferrari of Shin. Looks like he invalidated. But he might have been invalidated on his out lap. So he's just got a full battery charge, and he's currently 14th. So very much in Ferrari's current current form. Which is good. I don't know what that button does, so I'm not going to click that one. That's okay. So he looks like he's going for a fast lap. That's good. So we'll follow another one round, with him being one of only a handful of cars on track. We'll watch him through the first sector just to see how that all goes. A little bit of traffic coming out of the pits there. Hot lap on, that's the way that I do it. Hot lap and a little bit of overtake rather than medium and overtake that some guys do. It's a long lap, so there is the chance that you're going to run out of battery before if you're not careful with it, but there are some good chances to recharge. So as long as it's not your deploy that you're running out of, you're very unlikely to run out of full battery. A little bit slower there on his first sector by the looks of it. But what would I know? So we're going to have a quick look around the lap, because there was a man who we all owe our allegiance to. He's back in the pits. He didn't even do a lap. I don't even know why I bother. So looks like he's heading out now. We're going to keep an eye on him because I want to see how he gets on this evening. And you know, he's like my patron saint of commentary today. So there we go. With him and in his name, all things are possible. So we'll have a look, see who's on a fast lap. We've got loads of people on out laps at the minute. It looks like Ivy is also on a slow lap. Nothing exciting going on, but we have 1 minute 25 left. So anyone there's no one in the pits. This is going to get very, very busy very, very quickly. I almost wish I could just set a camera up on the end of the start-finish straight just to see who's coming over the line. And do you know what? For the last minute and 8 seconds, I'm just going to catch my breath. We'll see if we can follow him around without me talking too much. And just there goes Renault Twingo. Fiat 500 more like. With the 1:42.772. So, naturally quite a good lap. But only... not sure what happened then. I think it did to me. But he's going to go for a hot lap anyway. Good man. So he's not going to get over the line though, is he? Oh no, that is... do you know what? I'm absolutely gutted. Because he had loads of pace left. And... well, I don't even know if he got over the line now. I'm confused. So let's have a look at someone else who did get over the line. We're going to look at... No, not you idiot. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to have a look at Simon. He's used all of his deploy, so he's really, really been pushing the battery. So there's 1:44.0 currently. Can he improve on that? And he goes with, he does, 1:43.6, currently provisional 4th. There's still some laps to come in. We have a PRV, we have a widget who's going into the pits. And we also have a Ferrari going into the pits. Brilliant. These pits are really exciting today. See who else we've got. So we have Bevan, who's currently on the board with a 1:43.673. He needs to be careful on that battery because he's just about to run out of deploy if he's not careful. So he's switched it back to medium. I'm not sure if that's him abandoning his lap or if he's just making sure he's got a little bit of battery left in the battery pack. Braking for the so-called bus stop. Big chunk of curb there, and then back on the power, DRS, battery being deployed, and he does improve with the 143.5, and that puts him into third. In Bevan T3. He's doing up there. Absolutely cracking lap. And that, ladies, gentlemen, pigs and piglets, that is your qualifying for the evening. So let's have a look here. Have a quick look at the race director because why not? Twingo did that with 2 sets. Kingyo G. Oh no, Kingyo G is third. That happened quickly. 2 sets. So some of the guys have used 3 sets there, and there are your front row. Twingo and Ivy, Kingyo G, Bevan, Cowboy, Simon, Forg Massey, Mr. Poem, and then some of the others. So I think feels like I'm just talking to myself a little bit at the minute, guys. So if you have any requests or anything, whilst we have a 5-minute break between qualifying and the race start, you can see the cars all lining up on track there at the minute. If you feel like sharing the stream with your friends and family or your neighbours, anyone else you don't like, so they can listen to me for the next hour and a half or so, or however long it might be, more than happy to. But we will take a quick break. I'm going to go, I don't know, rethink my life's choices, and we'll be back in a minute when we are ready to go lights out at Spa-Francorchamps. So the ready up is at 20:37, and by my Timex I make it 20:37 and 20 seconds, so we'll be expecting. So clearly everyone's so scared of readying up early that no one readies up at all. So we'll hang on, and we will be go at Spa-Francorchamps. There you go. How's that for an impression? There's probably going to be more of that as my squiggly wiggly neurodivergence kicks in throughout the evening. The more tired I get, the progressively worse the comms are going to get, and not just in quality but in randomness. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to get going at Spa with the kick and the Haas make a good start. I'd like to see Ivy absolutely take it into the first corner, and he is going around the outside. He's pushing quite well with the Twingo starting on the hards, Ivy on the mediums, and we're going to watch this up through Radion and a Rouge down the Camel Straight. I'm just going to watch this little bit of battling before we start looking at strategy and things like that. All the cars go through. Can't see any incidents so far. There is a Mercedes down at the back with Cowley. He's 2 seconds down already, so I'm assuming something happened there. Let's go. Whoop, zoom, 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 zoom. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to watch these from above for a minute. These two guys don't tend to like watching the very front of the race, but I'd like to see these two guys maybe not coming together, but also some very, very close racing. Ivy on the mediums and Twingo. Twingo on the hards. So I'm sure Ivy is hoping to get past very soon. I'm going to show some position change there. So Bevan up 1. Ivy gets past him. Absolutely brilliant. So push, push, push now. Let's get a gap open before the tyre switches over the medium to the hards. And let's see if he can open up some space. It's a great big slipstream all the way down this back straight. Twingo putting his wheels, back wheels sliding slightly there into the exit of that turn. I'm going to go and write the bloody turn names down in a minute and the numbers, but all the way down the back straight. The gap is now down to 3, and it's going to be very, very close into the braking zone. This is where we start to see the difference in strategies, the difference in downforce. It's 44 laps. Oh, 44 laps. What? So it's quite a long race. Certainly some miles covered. Don't be laugh out loud in that turn. I'm not a details guy. So yeah, 44 laps of honestly. So we're going to watch them go past here another 42 times this evening. 42 laps left already. Back down the Camel Straight, and I've remembered that one, and I'm probably going to overuse it massively. Ivy maintaining 0.3 of a second. He was, and now it's changed again. So it's now up to 7/10. 7/10. He was obviously very quick through there, and Twingo driving like a Twingo. We're going to go back down a little bit because there's some very, very close cars here with Cowboy only 0.2 behind Simon, so it's going to be very, very close coming up to also that turn. But they're both going wide, so you're trying to push a little bit too hard through there. Even if there is a car behind you, the brakes do still work, and so do theirs, so it's okay to slow down a little bit if you need to. Who else have we got? We've also got here, Iron Machine's dropped back a little bit. He's made up a place, but Bakey Gaming making up 5. Are we going to see a little bit of... are we going to see team orders? I mean, they're both on mediums, so you know, you wouldn't expect to see team orders. But he's dropped down 4 seconds back from Mr. Poem, so you know, I've got pace, man. Let me go, man. I've got pace. So we'll see if those come through. And you know, I know it's 100%, and the TPs aren't quite as involved, but I'm sure they'd love to see Ferraris achieve some points this week. That would be great. Let's go down to come down to Merck, who's coming up on the back of the Ferraris. Probably standard for this weekend at Zandvoort, seeing the Red Bulls chasing the Ferraris. We've also got PRV Widgets. These guys down here started on softs. I don't know how to say that person's names, so I'm not going to say it. So PRV widget on softs. He is actually doing okay. That's good, that is. He's not lost any positions, but he's not gained any. And that person there has just been overtaken. Has just overtaken William. So no team orders at Williams either. Clearly, James Vowles isn't doing his job properly. He shouldn't be battling at this point. The race is a long race, guys. Come on, let's get to the end. So we are going to pop back up to the top, purely because whilst I've been chatting away, I've noticed that Twingo, who, I mean, 3.5 seconds. Can we all just have a look at that for a minute? Bask in the glorious magnificence of him being nearly 4 seconds down to Ivy. Ivy clearly having an absolute lined in of an opening 3, coming up to the start of 4 laps. Love to see his tyre wear, because he's absolutely ringed the neck of that poor little Haas. Does actually sound like a sewing machine in 2025 as well, which I always found quite interesting. We're going to call it the Singer from now on. So let's go over to the chat and see what people are saying. Yes. So according to this person, Ivy's a sweat. Well, he's doing very well today. And for the first time in I don't know how long, Haas is currently leading the race. I think the last time that happened was when everyone else had crashed and presumably burnt to death. But moving down the running order, Twingo, as we said, 3.7 seconds, 3.8 seconds now behind Ivy, closely followed by Bevan, who is clearly up for mid-season promotion, if anyone ever was. Only 2/10 now behind that other car that I said a second ago. Medium tyres are still probably the tyre to be on. It's a long lap, so you wouldn't, you're not going to have full grip in those hard tyres for another couple of laps, but the mediums will start dropping off. Probably not that long. They do get cooked around here, especially when you're tucked up behind another car. It's a very low downforce circuit, so there's quite a bit of tyre slide and things like that as well. You have to pay attention to what the wheels as they turn, what the wheels are doing. We're going to go back down the order a little bit again. So we've got a little bit realistically from Twingo, possibly just broke DRS on Bevan. He definitely has now 1.1 seconds. We've got a bit of a DRS train and some moves going on there between Cowboy and Simon. So let's see if they continue back on. Cowboy now 2 tenths behind Mr. Poem. Mr. Poem is he's a veteran of the game. Done many laps around here, I'm sure, and going side by side there up to Eau Rouge, and I could tell it was exciting because my voice said so. Down the Kemmel Straight there, the RB of Simon has pulled ahead from Cowboy, but Cowboy closing up under braking. Simon going off track a bit there, likely picked up a warning. But only 3 tenths behind Mr. Poem now. Mr. Poem leading these cars through Sector 2, back down the hill, all the way down the hill. And sometimes around this corner, if you look across the track, turns 1, 2, 3, 4, turns 5 and 6 around that area, you can see all the way across the valley, and you're essentially looking at the end of the track from all across distance, which is a really, really nice view. Thank you to Oscar Piastri for telling me about that when we had a chat a little while ago. He said it's interesting in the simulator, but when you come around there in a real car, it's just very clear all the way. So just going to pause for 1 second. I've clearly been talking too much. I'm going to grab a quick drink, and I'm going to flip through the cars as we go, because Cowboy is 4 tenths now behind Simon, and the lovely slipstream all the way down the back straight. So, going back to the chat, yes, I am counting the turns because I'm grown up and I can count, but I can't remember the name of all of the corners. And this helps me tell people where they are. Now you can clearly see on the map there, just down the right, I'm pointing that the card that is currently highlighted is a triangle. The other shapes that you can see moving around the squiggly wiggly line, which is the track, is known as a circle. A circle is completely round. There are other circles on the screen. They have the letters M, H and S in them. Those are called letters in the middle. And the different colours represent a different hardness of tyre. Hardness is how solid something feels. So soft is something that's a little bit squishy. Medium is somewhere in the middle, and hard is a little bit harder. So there we go. Welcome to, I don't know, Reading Corner. But yes, we're going to go back to racing. Clearly distracted me. Cowboy, definitely Cowboy, is fluctuating between 2 and 4 tenths. These guys are clearly on a very, very similar setup, similar pace. Possibly Simon is running a little bit less downforce, so he can slow him down in the twisty sections and then maintain that gap through the longer sections, even with Cowboy getting a toe and Simon going very, very wide there. That gap is now down to just under 2 tenths, and that's a tenth there. That is, whoa, side by side through there. That's the sort of thing I'd do, but he's got in front of him through into the braking zone, into the bus stop, and Simon looks to outbrake himself a little bit there. He's now going to have to defend from King Yog. He's now King Yog, because that's what I read when I looked out the corner of my eye. 6 tenths behind. Cowboy has created a 5 tenths gap, and if I'm right on the downforce, he will open that up. If I'm wrong on the downforce, he's going to close it. See, he's closing it. Oh no, I was right on the downforce. So he's going to find some pace all the way through here now. Is Simon getting it done before the DRS even opens. We are going to show telemetry. I want to see what battery they're on. Yep, Simon has absolutely caned his battery all the way through there. Cowboy not necessarily being able to defend or wanting to defend, so he's likely going to recharge and probably grab him all the way down the back straight. But Simon's doing the right thing. He's slowing him down, controlling the pace a little bit, and getting his battery back on charge. In the meantime, I think we're starting to see the tyre crossover now as Twingo. Sorry, I just keep looking at the chat, and you know, it might not be that funny to me, but it's funny. So he's got it down to a 3.1 seconds of gap, and I think we're going to start to see him reel Ivy in. I'm not sure what the pit strategies are today. I didn't get a chance to look at that, so if anyone in the chat knows, or even if you want to let me know what sort of strategy you'd run down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to nobody likes silence when we're doing commentary. So as we follow Twingo down the start finish straight and into turn 1, we're going to go on board for a little bit of a lap. No, we're not going to go on board with him. We are going to go on board with Bakey Gaming. And it's just been reported to me by Race Control that Simon now has a 3-second time penalty. Thank you for that, RC. So we're going to have a look at penalties there. He's going past him. Let's have a look. There we go. Gets past him again. Still got his battery going. Cowboy battling. Oh no, we don't want any of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars go into that turn there, and all of them come out the other side, thankfully, without being scathed. Simon comes out in front with a 3-second penalty. He's going to be absolutely gutted about that, with this race being so close from top to bottom, other than right at the end with that man there in 13th and Cowley, who total sort of 47 seconds behind everyone else. The whole of the whole of everyone is within 20 or so seconds of each other, which is very, very tight for such a long race and such a long lap. What we're going to do now is we are going to follow on board with Merckx, It will become very clear in a minute. Just like the name Merckx, it's got many Z's in it. Unlike that man there, I can say Merck's name without getting in trouble. So we're following him up the back straight. He's on the Ferrari there. He's very much definitely Italian, getting that close to his back end. So excuse me. So DRS is open. Now the reason I wanted to follow Merckx is because I knew that he was within a second, and I knew that coming into this straight he would have DRS. Now DRS, what is DRS, you may ask yourself, and if you didn't, unfortunately I'm going to tell you anyway. So DRS is the drag reduction system that we have in this generation of car. These big, enormous, boaty looking things that we see going around Eau Rouge there. So DRS, drag reduction system, is that little flap on the back wing that is actuated, pneumatically actuated, as the driver is between 1 second and 0 seconds behind the car in front. He will get a little beep in his ear that tells him that he's within DRS range, and he is able to open that. It's depending on the track, it can give somewhere between 10 and 30 kilometers. And just going to pause there on my science explanation as Twingo. Oh my goodness, he's got himself a 3-second time penalty. That's it, that's game over now. Might as well not watch anymore. So we're not going to watch him. I thought he was good. No, unfortunately he is going to have an absolute battle on his hands now to not only catch Ivy, who is still 2 seconds ahead at 9 laps, to extend his lead further than 3 seconds once all of the pit stops have happened on a very, very long race, a very long track, and he just can't seem to get any closer than 2 seconds at the minute. I say that as he goes to 1.8 seconds, so versus the commentator, I guess. So going back to Merckx, because he's my reference point for DRS. And we're going to see it again. So as he comes around here, you see that green line appear down the bottom there. It tells him when he's 50, 20, 30, 40. No, let's count back, shall we? 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 meters and 0. DRS is open. The flap on the back window opens, and that reduces the drag, reduces the downforce, reduces the air going over the back wing, and it allows the air to pass through the back wing drastically. Drastically reducing the drag in the car. DRS is open again when combined with battery, even at 11, 12, 13 or 14%. The speed difference is quite incredible. Running a very, very low wing setup around here, plenty of battery and DRS. You can see speeds well over 200 miles an hour, up to 200, which is one of the faster tracks. I think one that definitely beats it is Mexico, and I'm sure you'll tell me in the chat if there are any others, but definitely one of the faster ones. And yeah, so there we go. That is DRS. If you'd like to know anything else, please feel free to ask me. But don't make me talk for no reason, because it's a long race. We currently have 34 laps left, lap 10 of 44 now, and I'm already running out of things to say, so that's brilliant. But we're going to go back to Iron Shin down in 9th place. I'm sure he is. He's still in the same place that he was. Bakey Gaming, though. I mean, I've clearly not been paying attention, but Bakey Gaming is up 8 places into 6th. And he's got DRS on Simon as well. Simon with 3 seconds. I mean, if the race was to finish now, he'd grab that position anyway. But I mean, I'm quite happy with that. I'd be quite happy with that even. I mean, it wouldn't have made me want to accidentally crash into anyone or anything. But yeah, he's down to 2 tenths. And for me, personally, I'd back out a little bit going through Eau Rouge. I don't want to give the tyres any less grip than they absolutely want, because it just slip and slides and get off the tyre and things like that. And I'm not sure he's got the battery to really fully get by. He's going to have to back out of that there. He does back out quite early, quite safely. But Simon again cutting that corner. I think that's potentially where he got his penalty before. But going side by side through also that turn. Bakey, I would just bide your time a little bit, charge your battery up, give yourself a little bit of a break, maybe even back off a little bit to get yourself out of the dirt here slightly, and then when it comes around to the next time round, give the battery full beans and open their flippity flap on the back, and then get your backside past it. So we're going to pop down to Merckx now, who's within 4/10 of Baker Gaming as well. So this is proven to be quite an interesting. Simon now 7.5 seconds behind Mr. Poem. Clearly a race of 3 halves, but I suppose technically there's only 2 of those. With Ivy Twingo, that's 1 half. Bev and Poem, they're kind of another half, I guess, with 7 seconds between them and the top 2. And then Simon all the way down to that man there in 13th, who clearly pitted. Quite an early stop. Undercut can be quite decent around here, in fairness. Down to William there, who's just got past. Nope. He's got past him because he went into the pit. Pit stops are a thing here. PRV Widget somehow making those soft tyres go 11 laps. I mean, I can just about manage 2 laps in qualifying on those softs, so fair play to them. Comes down to the mediums. You know, that's guaranteeing them a 2-stop strategy, I think. No one in their right mind. I mean, not many people are in their right mind on here, but no one in their right mind is going to go 32 laps on a set of medium tyres, although there are occasionally people that try. Just going into the chat, Monza is possibly the fastest. Yeah, Monza is a very, very long one, especially if you ignore turn 1 and turn 2, you can get some real speed up. You just go through the polystyrene barriers there and get some extra sick man points. So POV Widget currently 16 seconds behind. Pit stop here can be quite. It's quite a long pit stop. In fairness, although the actual start finish straight is quite short, so he is likely going to see himself quite a few positions, or at least 2 or 3 positions when he comes back in, and we'll see if that happens a little bit later on. Still only 2 penalties at the moment. Baker Gaming, I mean, fair play to him. 9 positions gained so far. He is now at the front of the DRS train, so if he's got any pace left in him, he's clearly been reduced. He's clearly been using his battery throughout that lap to defend, but now is the time to do it. But clean air now could be the chance to extend on those tyres a little bit if he's looking for the 1 stop. He's got the fresh air. Let's see where this goes. Simon currently 6th, so he has dropped a little bit, but Simon's going to get DRS and a tow all the way down here, so Bakey is on the battery early to try and build that speed up. Move to the inside. Oh, that is a very silly decision from Simon there. You've got to decide early. You've got to make your intentions known. Otherwise, you get a reputation of being a terrorist. But Baker Gaming absolutely brilliantly defending it, just psychologically there, putting his car exactly where he needed it to go, and creating a kind of an aura of unovertakeableness surrounding himself, which is, basically what I do. You crash into enough people, eventually no one wants to overtake you, so it's quite helpful in that regard. Down to 5. Sorry, what I was trying to say was Merckx is now 6/10 behind because Simon has lost out to him. I was talking rubbish at the time and I didn't even see it happen, so you guys will have to tell me what happened there other than the obvious overtake. Bakey now 9.1 seconds behind Poem, so it is quite a big gap between them. In the meantime, Renault Twingo has caught up to Ivy and overtaken him. So clearly the benefits of the longer life tyres there starting to come into fruition. I think we're going to start seeing the same thing from Merckx as he closes down the medium tyre runners in front of him. And Twingo is just got outside of DRS from Ivy there. So we'll expect to see him start to drop Ivy, and Ivy will probably be looking to, I don't know, do something soon. Maybe box. I'm not sure how long the mediums last. We will see. Going to take a break now. There's some overtaking going on. Oh my goodness, I missed it again. Merckx has got past Bakey Gaming, and Bakey Gaming there with an absolutely unfortunate 3-second time penalty. That turn there does seem to catch quite a few people out, especially into braking zones. Get a little bit upset about being overtaken and forget to hit the pedal in the middle. Oh no. The man whose name I can't say has DNF'd. I'm not sure what happened there. Forg Massey and that man have both DNF'd. I can't see any yellow flags or anything like that. He's I knew that. So honestly, I have such weird tunnel vision when I'm doing this, as it turns out. So I'd forgotten that Massey had. Anyway, that was earlier. So the man there in 14th has unfortunately DNF'd. It looks like he retired in the pit lane, judging by his tyres. I don't know, so if someone caught it, please let me know. Well, I saw him get sent off, but I didn't know that. Well, I saw him change. I thought what was going on. So, oh, did he now? Anyway, so he's no longer in this race. So we're down to 13 tonight. 14 if you include me, which we won't do. So Cowley having a bit of a moment. Oh no, he's into the barrier. It looks like he's got end plate damage. Caution. Yellow flag's out at sector 2. Green flag. So it looks like he's back on the track. Oh, we was back on the track, and now he's back on the track again. Trying to clean his tyres up there. That was a particularly big moment. I'm glad we caught that on camera. But he's 41 seconds down now. Unfortunately behind Pierre Woodget, and it's caution in sector 2 again. Who have we got? That is Simon, unfortunately. Looks like he had a bit of an off there. We'll call that a little incident. Clean his tyres back up. I think we're starting to see the limits of the grip. That's another warning, unfortunately. Bringing the total up to 6 seconds for Simon. Current penalties: 3 seconds for Renault Twingo. Bakey Gaming, Simon with 6 and Cowley with 3. Quite definitely starting to get to the limit of those medium tyres. It might have been the spin, it might just be normal wear and tear, might be a particularly low downforce setup, as I was saying earlier, allowing that little bit more slide. But he probably should be looking at boxing soon. Cowley is still out on track, even with the little bit of end plate damage. Well, I'm sure he had end plate damage, but it doesn't look like he does now. He doesn't. What am I talking about? So, I thought he had end plate damage. Or he's just pitted. He is 1 minute and 9 seconds behind, ladies and gentlemen, which clearly means he has pitted. So that's a nice, fresh, shiny wing. Give the car a little bit of a polish and get it back out on track as Cowboy pits on the mediums. It's lap 16 now. What sort of cascade effect is that going to start to see now? Hard tyres are quite cold around here. Halfway through that first lap, they start to build up some temperature. Need to play around with the brakes a little bit to get those warming up from the inside out. But then you can really start to push, and those guys ahead with the worn mediums are going to be quite for the pickings a little bit later on. He's very, very strong. There's Simon there, unfortunately. Gets himself another 3-second penalty. And he's slidey. Bam, 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 bam. Sorry, a little bit of Tokyo Drift there from Simon. Thank you for entertaining us. I believe Drift Masters and the British Drift Championship are still going. We also have D1 in Japan and America if you want to see more of that. But we're here for Formula 1, so we're going to continue watching it. In the meantime, I'm going to pop back to Bevan, who has found himself, I mean, fair play, dude, you know. He's found himself 7/10 behind Mr. Poem, which is pretty cool. Looking at stops, neither of those have stopped yet. So Bevan closing that gap up all by himself, which, I mean, yeah, fair play. So we're going to see what he can do around here. We know he's got a 3-second penalty, but that's okay. It's about the racing. Racing is the important bit. So we watch him down the kill straight, absolutely batterying his battery. Mr. Poem defending that quite comfortably, even without the off DRS, and both of the batteries on recharge now. Heading through the end of sector 1, just to the beginning of sector 2. Slightly different lines there. Bevan taking the choice to maybe get out of the dirty air a little bit. And the good thing about this game is with the heat, if you could see the heat in front of you, you are definitely cooking your tyres. Treat it like a grill. Try and stay away from it a little bit. You know, don't get. Ooh, you don't want to blame yourself. But he's within 5/10 of them now. Choices here are either extend. So if I was Mr. Poem, I'd be looking to extend as long as possible. I've got clean air in front of me. From Bevan, I am looking at the undercut. So we will see what happens as we come round the long back straight. Round the corner, and the last little bit up to the bus stop chicane, into the braking area. Does Bevan dive into the pits at this point and take the opportunity? He does not. He's staying within the DRS zone of Mr. P. Mr. P now 13 seconds behind Ivy. Ivy's 5 and a bit seconds behind Renault Twingo. He's essentially running in clean air, so he will have the opportunity to extend those medium tyres for a little bit longer. Okay, so I think we're about the same for penalties at the minute. As you can see now, the pack is a little bit more split, with only Mr. Poem and Bevan close to each other, as Bevan gets to the end of the straight, runs out of battery, but he does make the move on Mr. P. Mr. P getting very close under braking, and probably a little bit too close towards the exit of that turn there. Let's see how this goes now, and how Mr. P handles the dirty air of UFRL WRU Bevan, world's longest name by the looks of it. If you were to spell all of those things out, it would be a very long name. Down into sector 2, all the way down the hill. Very, very fast corner. You don't want to be tucked up behind the car in front right now. You want all of that lovely, lovely air passing around stuck to the tarmac. Anyway, going back to the cheerleady chat. If anyone has any requests, if you'd like to see any information, if you have any questions about Formula 1 or how you might want to join UFRL and race or anything else, drop us your requests. Otherwise, I'm going to start beatboxing, and you will have to either mute it or I am going to have to do something very, very quick. I'm just going to mute myself and be back in just 1 minute. UFRL William unfortunately does get himself a 3-second time penalty there. That's not ideal. And Bevan and Poem have pitted together. That might work out quite well for Bevan. Naturally, it's going to work out very well for Mr. Poem, but that's Bevan having a 3-second penalty. Sure he did. It did a minute ago anyway. No, it doesn't. He's an adult. Bevan does have a penalty, of course. So Poem will now want to get by him so that he can extend the life of those tyres. But at the same time, he's not going to take a risk doing it, as he does have, as it stands, the track position at the end of the race. So yeah, back in just 1 moment. summer breeze makes me feel fine. And we're back with UFRL Formula 1 at the 100% tier, Majiggy. And we're currently watching these guys race. Mr. Poem looks like he's going to be, could potentially be making a move into the bus stop. He backs out sensibly. He's now 2 tenths behind Bevan. They came out the pits together. They've been together all the way around this lap. Tyres warming up. Mr. P clearly been charging his battery all the way around. It looks like Bevan has a little tiny bit of defending all the way through there. But Mr. P will have a little bit of a shaky exit there, but he will have DRS after they get through Radion and Aujuge. Going up here, battery on, DRS open as soon as you get to that little white line just there. And the wing comes open. 204, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 208 miles an hour. He just doesn't quite have the speed there. Bevan absolutely caning all of his battery there to make sure he stays in front. Sorry, the reason I muted a second ago is because I had to put my phone on charge and it didn't turn it on. Silly, wasn't it? So, just going to pop into the chat on here just to see if there's anyone saying anything. It doesn't look like there's anything there. Chat on Discord. Like I said, if you are interested in joining UFRL to race, to chat, spectate, or watch streams or anything like that, make sure you give us a follow. And I promise I probably won't do this again, although this is not what you'd usually get. But it is 100%. It is Friday night. Obviously I felt bad and I had nothing better to do. So here I am. As we watch Bevan. Camera angles change. What's camera angle change? Getting a bit of a shaky exit there. Mr. Pine within 1/10, and Cowley's now picked up. Oh no, Cowley's picked up a warning and he's DNF'd. That is yellow flags, and that is some safety car. It says caution sector 1 on my screen at the moment, but the whole track is yellow. UFRL William getting absolute timing of his life there. He only had 1 lap old tyres, but he is in the pits, and I imagine quite a lot of other people, but Twingo and Merckx on 20 lap old hards. They are going to be looking this and going to be making a very, very tough decision. The tough decision is, when do I brake for the pit entry board? Because there's absolutely no way that they'd be staying with any sort of safety car, virtual or otherwise. If you can see what it is on the stream that I can't, just let me know, because it does just say caution sector 1. Sector 1 isn't quite that long. It's only up to the 2-bit. So it is double yellows, waves. It's definitely safety car. I could see it on the sign there. So Twingo now coming down the back squiggly wiggly straight, just popping through the DRS detection point there, and he will be box, pick confirm. He's not. He is. Okay. I was going to lose it then. So he has boxed this lap. He is length of the pit time. He is going to come out ahead of Merck, even if Merck doesn't pit by the looks of it. Ivy probably ruined the day a little bit. He will be tucked up behind Twingo on those hard tyres. So I'm expecting, we would expect to see, when the lights go again, that we have Twingo out in front and pulling away on the mediums. But he'll tuck up behind the safety car, bring those tyres in nice and gently. And we will go from there. So we're going to have a few minutes where the racing is paused. In the meantime, I'm just going to have a quick look at the sports results today. Yeah, shall we see if anything happens today? Transfer moves, no, Ooh, Emma Raducanu is outclassed by in the US Open. That's good. Championship live, Leicester. I won't give you the results or anything, but Leicester playing against Birmingham. Tottenham have announced Simons from RB Leipzig for 52 million, so that's interesting. Man United winger Anthony set for Better's return, so he's going back. Oh, that's interesting. So safety car is out. The cars will start bunching up now. We have cars 1, 2, 3. Mr. P will be joining them soon. Yes, we'll be joining them in just a moment. Baker Gaming coming around there at quite a rate of knots. I'm not sure if he's missed up then. I remember I think it was my first race, one of my first races in UFRL. I was having loads of fun behind the safety car in Brazil. Everyone got really upset with me. Turns out people get upset with me quite a lot, but that's part of the fun. So it'd be nice to keep it nice and sensible behind the safety car. No one wants their race ended by some idiot rear-ending them, so make sure you keep a little bit of distance. Batteries charged to full. Keep your tyres warm without over-sliding them. Obviously when you're going slow you do have a bit less downforce, so the tyres can slide around. As we come to the end of lap 22, we now have cars 6 there, of UFRL Mercs and the RB, and Cowboy, who is definitely going to be Cowboy forever, in the Alpine, tucking up behind. PRV Widget coming down the back straight into the bus stop, so we're probably going to see one final lap under the safety car. It's quite a long lap. The safety car can sometimes call it quite early, so we do have Shin and William to catch up now. I don't think it worked out quite the way William would have wanted it to. 4 deaths already, yes. They will live in our hearts and minds till the end of the race probably, and then we'll forget all about it. Well, they won't, especially not if they're took out. They'll be in the chat later telling us all about it, I'm sure. Only 22 laps left, halfway through. Oh, God, halfway. You know what? In the time that I've done this, there are other things I could have done, but they wouldn't have been anywhere near as enjoyable, and I wouldn't have had you as a wonderful audience. Not that any of you have talked to me. I feel like I'm going crazy, sitting here chatting to myself all of this time. Very, very interesting. Definitely a different Friday evening. Far less. Anyways, moving on from that. Just going to grab a drink for a minute and clear my throat, because I won't do that on microphone, so bear with me. So, as I was saying, safety car might not be out for too long. I can't remember what I said. I'm sure I said something along those lines. But the safety car has announced it is in this lap. The lights are out. The car is pulling away. And it's now down to Twingo to lead the pack through the last half of this lap. He is on mediums. They are very fresh. It's quite likely he could make quite a good getaway at any point that he decides, but it's whether he decides to go early or decides to go late. Now round Spa, the bus stop chicane is the perfect place to go, but he looks like he's gone very, very early, and I even cleverly had telemetry up there, so he has opened that gap up to 1.4 seconds, 1.6 seconds already. That is an absolute... Don't want to give him too much credit, but he made a really, really good start there. He's up to 1.8 seconds now, and the cars behind him are starting to get a little bit close together, with those two there, Mercs and Bevan, who I'm sure they're in the same team, getting quite close to each other, going down the start straight, and Mercs there getting very, very close to Baker Gaming. Forced him onto a bit of a defensive line. Close again. Look how close. There. Say close more because it's clearly a good word. But yes, they are very, very close through there. Twingo, definitely on the right tyres for a restart. 3.45. It's 3.6 seconds in a second, I'm sure. Ahead of Ivy. Ivy on 4 lap old hards is leading the rest of the pack. Still quite close pack all the way down to 7th minute, leading all the way down the hill. Baker Gaming and Merckx having a bit of a to-do there. Baker Gaming getting the better of him through that turn. But keeping close, fairly close behind him, 0.2, 0.1. Is he going to go around the outside? Is he going to take that risk? He really should, because it will be exciting. He does, and he gets the move done. Absolutely brilliant racing, and pretty respectful there from Baker Gaming as well, making sure that he keeps space. That man at the front there, he got the fastest lap, so well done him. He's you know what it was like last season in real life Formula 1, where you just didn't care what the car in front was doing, you just watched everyone else. I'll do the rest of this race, I think. But good for him, he's achieving and he can continue to achieve. Baker Gaming on the back of Merck now. He's got DRS down the long straight. Merckx very close on Poem, gets past Poem, pulls back in nicely to get nice and tidy. No outraking himself through there. Head down to King Jog. He's within 0.7 of William at the minute, so if he stays there, he's looking at a late race promotion due to William's 3-second penalty. William currently racing in Tier 2, I believe, and doing quite well. Keep trying to chase him and failing massively. Baker Gaming, Bevan, both with 3-second penalties. Cowley did have one, unfortunately he's not going to finish this race due to DNFing earlier. And Renault Twingo with 3 seconds as well. He's now opened his gap up to 6.2 seconds, negating his 3-second penalty. And hopefully, for his sake, he's not pushing those tyres too hard. Or he may be looking at another stop a bit later on, and he'll absolutely wring the neck of his tyres through the next probably 14 laps or so. No, 10 laps. 10 laps, 36. Yeah, that'll make about sense. That'll take him up to 14 laps on mediums, depending on the gap that he can make up. A couple of different strategy options here. Could go to the end on those mediums, but it may be a little bit of a screwy towards the end. At the moment, the next pit stop action is likely to come from probably Cowboy actually. Baker Gaming on lap hold mediums, just as Merck catches up and gets past. See, I'm giving you really interesting information, and it's the boring racing's getting in the way of me explaining stuff. So yeah, Merck's got past Ivy there. 4 lap old mediums, clearly going to be the faster tyre at the minute. Crossover if I can stick with him, he may still get the second top spot. Quite close together still, aren't they? Ryan Shin, 18 seconds back at the minute. Doesn't look like he's damage. So he's not pitted again, so I'm not quite sure what happened. So if anyone see what happened, can we see position changes? No, not allowed to. Oh my goodness, look at that. Merckx up 10 places. Right, that's enough of that. It's too exciting. I'm going to go back to the stops. No, you can have that for a little bit longer. So Merckx clearly having an absolutely blinding race, up 10 places. Ivy's dropped 1, but he's still pretty quick on track. Mr. Poem for Baker Gaming, another one having a very, very good race, up 9 places. Unfortunate with his 3-second penalty, but he's doing very, very well. Bevan and Cowboy have lost 2. Widget up 3. Fair play to him. William up 1. King Yog has unfortunately dropped 7, and Ironchin has dropped 2. And the rest there have clearly dropped more. So the Can you explain to us what the different tyres do, please, and what the wings at the front of the car do? I'm an F1 noob. Yes, you are. But I can explain it. And what the different tyres do. Different tyres, different colours are different compounds. Compounds are set by the FIA and Pirelli. And they start at various levels of hardness and move down through, depending on the race, 5 or 6 different levels of softness. They pick 3 tyre compounds for the weekend, and they paint them red for soft, yellow for medium, and white for hard. Hards are the longest lasting tyre. They naturally have less grip. They don't sink into the tarmac quite as much. So they don't have as much grip, but they do last longer. The mediums is kind of the best of both worlds. And something's happened again. You've distracted me with the science. Someone's crashed somewhere and done something. I'm not sure what's going on. It just says caution sector 2. Does it do this a lot? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened then. It came up all yellow on my screen. And I'm not sure why. Someone will tell me. Anyways, I was staring off into space while I was describing tyres. So, hard, medium, and soft. The soft is your super fast, grippiest tyre. The one that you want in qualifying. The one that you want for a late safety car or something like that. It will really, really stick to the track. It will find its way into the little grooves, the little divots in the track, and give you an enormous amount of grip. But they do wear out very, very quickly. Medium tyres somewhere in the middle. You know, it's still a reasonably fast tyre with a bit longer life. See, that's a yellow flag waved. What's going on? Safety cars out there somewhere. No one else has crashed though. No one else has. Oh, he nearly crashed then, William. Ran into the pits. He nearly done himself in. 3 stops. Has he lost the wing? Oh, that will be what happened, ladies and gentlemen. William there has lost part of his front wing. He needs that bit because in a minute I'm going to explain why. So with tyres, you want as much grip as possible, but you also want the tyre to last longer. Now, front wing. The front wing creates downforce over the front axle. Very, very important because the front axle is the one that does quite a lot of your braking and all of your turning. Without it, you see what happened to William there. He turned a little bit and he crashed into the wall because it wouldn't turn when he wanted it to. These cars are ground effect cars, so you can see the bottom of the car there, very, very close to the ground. That creates an enormous amount of downforce as the air is channeled through, around and over the car. So the way that ground effect works is it creates an area of low pressure underneath the car, and that sucks the car down, the opposite to like an aeroplane's wing. It's not quite an aerofoil, but it's very similar. It sucks the car right the way to the ground, which is why when you see them going down the straights, you can see them all the way along. That's called porpoising, and that is caused by the low pressure sucking the car to the ground, the air not being able to travel under the car anymore, the car lifting because it doesn't have as much downforce, the air passing back through, creating that downforce and smashing the car into the ground again. That's what causes porpoising for anyone who doesn't know. So the car is finely balanced, finely tuned. As a driver, you can adjust the settings of the front wing, the rear wing, the suspension height, the suspension stiffness, and all of those things all build together to give you a car that is balanced through a corner and faster on the straights. So, as I said, the front wing predominantly gives downforce to the front wheels. The rear wing predominantly gives downforce to the rear wheels. And the underbody of the car, the channels and all of the things pulled together to make sure that everything is nicely balanced and the tyres have exactly the amount of grip that they need going into every corner. Also makes them as fast as possible down the straight, but the more downforce you have, the slower you'll be down the straight, but the faster you'll be able to go through the corners. You'll also have less tyre wear normally with the high downforce setup, partly because although the car will be travelling faster, it won't slide about as much, but at the same time it will put more load on the tyres, so you'd need to potentially run slightly higher suspension. If you run really high rear downforce, you need to increase the stiffness of the rear suspension and potentially run a slightly harder tyre so it doesn't completely squash when you're at high speeds. You'll hear a lot of it, you'll hear a lot of the when a car is potentially slightly undersprung at the rear because the car is grinding out all the way along. In real life racing, they don't want that because they have to worry about things like plank wear. And I hope to F1 Noob, that's your new name, that helps explain things just a little bit. So, looking at stops, looking at strategy, the cars are all pretty much, other than William and Shin, are all pretty much bunched up around the back of the safety car. I don't think they're going to get there early enough for the safety car to be in, so we will be having one more on the safety car. Looking at stops, I did just show that. So looking at stops, Twingo has now had he's now had 2. He's on a fresh set of mediums to get him 15 laps to the end. He is going to be overjoyed, I am sure. We will hear about it later. William popping into the pits again. I'm not sure why. If he's picked up some damage, if he wants to set hard to go to the end, or if he's sleepy and he's just going to pull over for a nap. Who knows? We will potentially find out in a minute. But it's Twingo's race to lose now, so he has put on a set of hards. He is looking to go to the end on a tyre that he can push all the way to the end on without having to worry about it too much. So, Baker Gaming with the 1 stop, he will have to stop again. Red Cowboy, 14 lap old hards. He has another 14 laps to do on those tyres if he wants to go to the end, so we're likely to see a stop from him. And then further down the order, Merckx, Ivy, Poem, Bevan, Widget, King Yog, and Einshin all have the freshest of fresh tyres, whether they be medium or hards. UFRL William has put his old set of hard tyres on, getting to the end, so those tyres will be 22 laps old by the time he gets to the end. I'm clever, I promise. So they're all warming up their tyres, doing the warming up wiggle. It does work to get heat into the tyres, but it also wears the tyres needlessly. You want to warm your tyres up, use the brakes, warm the tyres up from the inside out, especially under the safety car. Don't know why I'm telling you all my tricks, but it works really well. It doesn't wear the tyres out, and it warms the tyres up, keeps them at a good operating temperature. You don't have to worry too much about warming the rears up because you've got the big loud pedal on the right hand side to do that. Just play with the brake balance and get the tyres warmed up. For those that don't know, you now know, and those that did know, apologies for giving away your secrets. So safety car is pulling away from the pack now, and we have Renault Twingo on his 1 lap old mediums, the jammy git, ready to lead us away for another safety cars. Yeah, Martellion did feel a bit unusual. Unfortunately I didn't see what tyres he had on before, so it may just be that the tyres he put on are the best option to go to the end. I'm sure his race engineer is apologising profusely. As we see Renault Twingo, and he's gone full throttle. That's him going. We all know the rules. Once you go full throttle, you cannot back out of it, even if it would be really funny. He's up to 1.4 seconds ahead, 1.5 now, with Baker Gaming trailing behind a little bit, and likely to get eaten alive by UFRL Merckx in not too long a time. Although Merckx didn't have a brilliant start. He's 1.5 seconds down, so he's got a wiggle on. before DRS is enabled.
I think everyone needs an F1 lesson with Yaya.
Yeah, the trouble is I just make it up. I sound really confident with it, so it wouldn't necessarily mean anything. It'll all be true, but you'd never know. So Twingo up to 2.4 seconds ahead of Baker Gaming now. Fairly fresh medium tyres. Baker Gaming 14 lap old mediums. 3.9 seconds down. Merck has closed that gap up pretty sharpish. Hopefully for him he can get by fairly soon. As Ivy gets a 3-second penalty. That is unfortunate. So Ivy's got some work to do, and so have Merck, but Merck in a very, very good position at the minute. If he can push through to the end and close the gap up, get Bakey out of the way when he pits, or dispatch him a little bit earlier on, get up close to Twingo. He's looking from a P12 to a potential, quite likely at the moment, P2. He can keep his nose clean all the way to the end. He's got his 2 stops in. Bakey Gaming will be out of the way soon, but it looks like he's possibly going to get on this lap round. Bakey Gaming is quite a bit of battery there, and Merck playing it clever, letting his battery recharge, staying close but looking for the DRS down the Camel Straights. It's just one, singular, down the Camel Straight. So we're watching them come around here. Baker Gaming leaving them 2 tenths, 1 tenth, 1.5, under a tenth now, side by side, and he's passed him with all of the battery in the world still ready to defend as Ivy gets up on the back of Baker Gaming as well as the Pony closing them down also, with the second highest battery of all of them, Merck, playing an absolute blinder there, getting his battery and his overtake just right to the minimum. No point overusing it. If you can get it done earlier on, you get a good exit, you need less battery. Poor exit, you need to maybe use a little bit more. Mr. Poem has quite an interesting strategy with his battery sometimes. He's on it a lot. He's really using it every braking zone, or every time he comes up to a car, lift and coast, switches the battery back to 90, getting as much harvesting as he possibly can. Doesn't need medium battery, or if he doesn't need medium battery to keep up with the current battery, he's really knocking it down all the time. So it's quite interesting watching his battery usage. Some races, I'll hardly even touch it unless it's between medium and hot lap every now and then. Other races I'm flicking it up and down constantly, and it's like, I won't say what it's like because that was going to be rude, but you can imagine if you're a bloke and you have a dirty mind like me. But you're constantly moving the button, almost like you're flicking it. It's a bit weird. But yeah, so moving it between none, medium, hot lap, and overtake. Constantly. A little bit of contact there from Mr. Poem. Didn't lose an end plate though, but he may have just given Baker Gaming a little bit of a jump. Poem very, very close up there, getting the door closing in a little bit, but getting by early on. DRS open, Bakey with DRS open as well, so that was a pure absolutely fair play, and he's passed and clean into turn number. He's got decent battery, a little bit more than he probably would have liked to defend there. Merck's now 5.6 seconds behind Twingo. Ivy 1.2 behind him. Then Poem half second, 1.4 to Bakey, 2 tenths to Bevan, who's closing in on Bakey. Now Bakey really needs to potentially start looking at a pit stop. Fortunately for him, with the cars so close together, he is going to look at dropping quite a few places before he comes back out. In fact, looking at the timings now, he will come out at last. So he may be looking now, he is clearly looking to extend those tyres all the way to the end. Back in 1 second. So Ivy now 2 tenths, 1 tenth, 0.8, 0.6, and he is side by side with Merck going to a little tiny bit of contact there. Probably a note to race control, but they've been very, very respectful all the way through. Side by side still, Merck around the outside, holding his position really, really nicely, and Ivy's just got ahead of him. Absolutely brilliant racing there. I'm really glad that I finally paid attention and actually caught some side-by-side racing on the stream. Merck's still exceedingly close. Let's have a look at the batteries between them. So they're both over 50%. Merck's burning it a little bit out of that corner. Ivy being cute with the charging, making sure he's got that full battery all the way back down that back straight, because he knows that Merck is going to be doing the same thing. Both experienced drivers, both talk a good game, so let's see how they do here. Ivy clearly hammering it and having a very good end of sector 2, beginning of sector 3 to open that gap up to nearly a second, only for Merck to close it down to nearly 7 tenths. Getting back into the DRS just when it's important. Just 8 tenths behind her now, Mr. Pone 4 tenths behind her. A little bit of wheel spin for Merck, so he didn't get a brilliant exit out of the bus stop chicane. A little bit better there, a little bit cleaner, but Ivy also got a decent exit. So Merck is a little bit faster in the slipstream, so we will see how he gets on back up here with it's quite a low battery, so I'm not sure if he's switching between attack and defence. So he has used a little bit of battery possibly to try and break a little bit of the gap to Mr. P behind him, who does close up to within 2 tenths of him into that braking zone. Battery usage is, these guys all do the same battery usage. Now, it's clearly an experience thing, switching constantly between none, medium, harvest and overtake and those sorts of things, so clearly flicking the buttons all the time. Ivy now 7.6 seconds behind Twingo. But the action is down here from P2 down to P4. Bevan still having a pretty decent race, to be fair. He's dropped a position, but he's clearly going for the no, not him, the other one. Go. He's done his 2 stops. He's got a 3-second penalty. He is looking for that 5th, so he needs to keep that gap to Cowboy behind him. Apologies for calling him Cowboy. It's just stuck in my head now. But if you look on your screen now, ladies and gentlemen, as it is Spa, as it is Belgium, in the valleys, those trees don't get green without plenty of water. It is raining, and we see a yellow flag in sector 3 with Iron Shin clearly making a bit of a mistake there and coming off, and well, might not have too much of a front wing at the minute. I can't currently see, but it looks like there's a bit missing on it. And play. Oh no, just tyres. Oh, he's gone early for inters. That's what he's doing. Oh, that could be an absolute masterclass if the rain really hits. Let's see what Twingity Twingo is doing at the front. He's still going. He's taking it easy. That is a lot of understeer through there. And as is usual in the wet, you use as much of your battery as you possibly can on the straights, and you go nice and steady tippy toes around the corners. Gap is now up to 9 seconds. As far as I know, we still have DRS. I've not seen that flash up on the screen yet. So Ivy within half a second now. Depending on what happens, depending on when these guys box, they could be looking at potential undercut on Twingo if the rain hits harder, or do you stay out a little bit longer and risk it? We could go down here and have a quick look at the lap times, see what Shin is doing. Obviously we don't really have a good basis for it because the rest of the lap times are dry, but if we can see what, for example, sector 2 is versus someone else on the same tyres, we'll have a look at that on the next lap to see If you were racing, would you pit? These guys clearly would. Bubbly bubbly bub. Bingo, Mercs, Ivy, Poem, Bevan, Cowboy, Widget, William stays out on the hards. That could be a masterclass, couldn't it? The rain stops now. He might be okay. If it doesn't, he's had it. But he still comes out. Such a gap, such a lead that Twingo had. He still comes out in second. William probably not too worried about pitting. He's just going to have some exciting race because he's got 16 seconds worth of penalties. But Merck comes out, clearly had a very good stop. Comes out 9/10 ahead of Ivy, so he's opened the gap up a little bit more. Poem had a good stop as well, so it might be a bad one. DRS is still active, so it's not that wet out on track. But if we go to the tyres, we see that everyone, other than two potential psychopaths, William and Bakey, have not pitted. Bakey on the soft, so he might be able to last a little bit longer, but I wouldn't want to take those two laps for another 7 laps in the wet. It's going to be anxiety causing. Just going to pop into the chat to see if anyone's had any questions or anything. No, nothing. Very quiet tonight, guys. You know, there are some of you still watching. You've not all left yet. So if you got any questions, if you want anything to chat about, have any opinions. At the moment, we do have a clear leader in Twingo, all out there on his lonesome, pulling Max Verstappen. Next time I said that, get a big head. But he is out there all on his own, and he's boxed for fresh inters, and the nearest car behind him is 10.4, so clearly opening up the gap. Twingo is potentially decent in the slightly damper conditions. Pop back down to William and Bakey. Bakey's likely to close up on William, and it could be hilarious watching them ice skate around each other. They just go spinning off the track in perfect pirouetting unison. Yeah, with the way William fell down the leaderboard, I'm guessing hards weren't the wise to stay on. I mean, it's an interesting choice. They're particularly shiny when it comes to the rain, and we'll see coming to the end of this straight. The rain isn't very hard, but we know that Spain gets very, very slimy. It is a very, very greasy track. I think it's just because it gets washed away so much. I'm not sure why, but I absolutely detest Spa in the wet. I always feel like I'm about half a metre from sliding off the track. As William lets... Who's that? No? He just, I don't know what's happened there. Does he let him by? But I think so what? Okay, yeah, he was just not sure. Didn't look like it flashed up on screen and one had gone past him. So William not having a brilliant couple of laps. Bakey not catching up to him. So as far as the dry runners goes, he is clear winner at the minute. But he will lose that position when the penalties come in with 13 second penalties between them. PRV Widget making his way past Bakey gaming then. Intermediates to soft time, clearly the intermediates are a little bit quicker as Bakey has another moment. I mean, guys, it's 5 laps, just pit. Let's make good decisions, make good choices and all that. So he does come into the pits, as does William. It's just not worth it at this point. You never know. You might get a safety car and you might do well out of it. Although the reason for likely safety car, they're both just pitted. So there we go. So going to move back up to the top. Twingo is now cleared 12.5 seconds on Ivy. No changes to the penalties for the top 4 point scorers so far, with 3 seconds apiece for Twingo, Ivy, Bevan and Widget. Oh no, William just picked up a 10-second penalty for crossing the white line on the pit exit. That's 20 seconds. That's a record that I've seen recently. From what I've seen recently, so fair play. You're going to win some points tonight, William. They just might not be the points that you wanted. As I was saying, Ivy now 13 seconds behind Twingo. Twingo pulling out really comfortable lead. I'm going to try for the curse of the commentator and say that the win's in the bag for him, just to see what happens. But Merckx only, or just less than half a second behind Ivy, so he's still within 3 seconds, and he's still on for that second place. Slightly further back, 2.2 seconds back, it's Poem. He's still very comfortable. If he can close up that gap a little bit, he can, over the next 4 laps, steal that final podium place and really upset Ivy. Dropping Ivy down potentially. So at the moment, that's that. I don't know if we do it. So yeah, currently less than 3 second gap between them. Sorry, I had to do some quick maths then, didn't I? Yeah, currently 3 seconds. That's 2.5 seconds now between Ivy and Poem. So we're going to keep an eye on Poem's times for a minute. If he can get that below 2 seconds and Ivy stays where he is, he's got it in the bag. Cowboy, very. Oh yeah, he's going past. Yes, he has got past UFRL Bevan moving back over to give a little bit of a dummy there. Did look like Cowboy took the bag a little bit and just outbroke himself slightly. Back end getting away. They are currently in the race by themselves. Bevan with this 3 second penalty. So unless he pulls off something special within the next few laps, he might have reached his limit tonight, unfortunately. But he has had. Some of these guys have had a really good race. Merckx, obviously, very good race so far. Bevan had an outstanding qualifying, in fairness to him, and losing 2 places over 40 laps is pretty good going. Widget up 4 places, he's done very well for himself. Baker Gaming up 4 as well. And Mr. P up 4 also. The guys that have lost out a little bit tonight, so Bevan down 2, and King Yog down 5. But Twingo, Ivy, Cowboy and Iron Shin all in the position that they're qualified in, so fair play to them. When we go on board, I just want to see what the actual levels look like. Not avoiding the curves as much as you would expect. Still clearly finding some grip. Finding some grip. Good brakes. Yeah, I'll wait to the end for definite, but guys in the chat, you might be right there. That's particularly race. Yeah, potentially on here, so fair play to him. But yeah, grip wise, it looks like driving on ice, really, doesn't it? I mean, rain makes it exciting to watch, but we all know it doesn't make it exciting to race on. It just makes it feel uncomfortable and slidey and stupid. Like the rain in the summer when you've had weeks and weeks of it baking. Oh, just as someone, William, unfortunately, at the moment there, isn't he? Going straight on at the end of the Kimmel straight. Straight does end, so at some point you do have to brake and turn. Unfortunate, because we all know that speed is exciting. Merck still within 6/10. Poem still within 2 seconds of Merck, so he's within that 3 seconds currently. As they start the penultimate lap, lap 43, the penultimate lap of this race. Running order as it stands: Twingo P1, Ivy P2, followed by Merckx, following Cowboy Bevan, Widget, King Yog, Iron Shin, Bakey and William. I'm a bit more grip there. It looks like the rain has stopped through that sector. Where else? Who's that? Iron Shin picking. I'm assuming he's picking for a set of new softs, because he wants to go for the fastest lap. DRS has been enabled, so it is now officially a dry race, just as that was Merckx, just had a little bit of an off then, yet the tyres are starting to overheat. Looks like it's completely dry, but it looks like it's completely dried out, but they are sliding all over the place. Ivy finding himself a little bit off track there, not picking up any extra penalties or anything like that, but definitely right on the limit of those tyres. Owen has closed the gap up a little bit, so he's only 2.2 behind Ivy. On the turn in there, there's a little bit of 5p, 50p. Down through the road. I think for a minute we're going to see how Iron Shin's getting on with these tyres. I'm assuming he's going for the fastest lap. He needs to get the tyres warmed up, he needs to get the battery warmed up. He's in risk of being overtaken by William, who's got 8 seconds behind him due 26 second penalties. So take his time, probably not drive off track like that, and get his tyres all warmed up and see what they can do. So we are coming up to the start of was you already on? I don't know. So lap 43 through sector 1. I'm going to go for a wide angle shot now. Ooh, it's beautifully fast. Isn't it an interesting green colour? I mean, the car liveries change over the years. Some of them get better, and some of them get worse and much more boring. But it's a very green car, isn't it? William boxing again. I'm not sure if he's... not sure why. Maybe to take some penalties off. Putting on a set of medium tyres to do a lap. He's serving his penalty. Well, let's not watch that because we know what that looks like. So, position change. Merckx still at 9. A couple of other guys with decent progression throughout the lap. Throughout the race. And yeah, nothing to report at the minute. Merck within 1 second of Ivy. He's dropped back a little bit. Mr. Poem within 1.1 of Merck, so they're still within the 3 seconds. And Twingo gets okay, he's retired. Can't go doing that. I didn't know you were going to do that. Bloody cheaters. So Ivy is now current track leader. He will get a podium out of it. You know, it's very unlikely that Cowboy could close that distance enough in one lap to pick up that position. So at the moment it is a 3-way battle for P1. So we're going to watch this to the end. Keep an eye on Merckx in the middle. That's where the changes are going to come. 2007, Charles Leclerc.
told his dad a little white lie. Well, it wasn't true then, but it is true now. Let the sky fall, let it come. What are the other ones? Yeah, so we're on the final lap of what feels like for me anyway, it's been quite a good race to watch, to be fair, but it feels like the world's longest race. I don't remember the last time I talked for an hour and 13 minutes non-stop. For anyone that knows me, that is definitely a lie. So in fairness to Ivy, he has had a pretty good race. It's unfortunate for him that he picked up that 3-second penalty, because he has had good pace all day. We are going to watch him cross the line, followed by Merck, who will pick up P1. And Mr. Poem gets P2. Ivy with the final podium slot, sorry. We'll watch all of these guys over the line because they've all worked incredibly hard to get through this race. Change in the weather, a couple of safety cars. Widget coming home. Will he get P6? No, he'll lose out. He'll come in for P7. I think he crosses the line with a P6. Iron Shin, another 12 seconds back. First of the Ferraris. Makey Gaming coming across the line. I like this. Looking for them all. That's good, that. And then we'll keep an eye on William. He stayed with us till the end, despite 26 seconds of penalties, a couple of incidents, bit of damage here, bit of interesting choices there, but it's a points finish. It's P10. You know, the other guys couldn't hack it, and that Twingo bloke, you know, all of that speed, and they couldn't even finish a race. So we're going to watch him through to the end because he's bloody learnt it. Into the bus stop chicane for the final time. With it being Spa, it is the final time because they'll pull into the pits and the other side. Up the pit straight and across the line. Well done. Round of applause to everyone. Well done to everyone that finished, everyone that took part. And that is the end of the race. Watch some podium stuff now. Look at that man there, winning. And those two coming second and third. Congratulations. They're very happy, aren't they? Little punch in the air. How much of this do we normally watch? I'm not sure. Yeah, congratulations to Merck. Absolutely outstanding drive. Millions and millions of overtakes, and yeah, just a really good race. Good race. That was a blast from the past, wasn't it? So UFRL Mercs with the winner, fastest lap from Renault Twingo despite DNFing. I'm already friends with Merck, so I know a famous person. Driver of the day for Merck, even the game thinks so. Most overtakes for Mercs, and cleanest driver. Well done to Cowboy. So that is the end of your evening's entertainment. We'll have a look all the way down. There you go. You almost looked all the way down. That was all your race finishes anyway, top 10. And yeah, thank you very much for listening to me for the last hour and 17 minutes. It's been appreciated. It's been different. It's been interesting. And I think that's good night. So I will leave you to your evening.